For you. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's get this thing going. So, welcome everybody to the Ultimate Ultra Running Webinar 2014. And firstly, on behalf of all of us involved, we'd like to say a massive thanks and also a big congratulations to all of you for being here. Because this sort of event is really only for a very specific audience. Dedicated athletes who are ready to raise their game. And that applies to every single person who's here tonight. So hats off to all of you. Now, this event came about after George, James, Neil and myself were asked to write a feature for Runner's World magazine, it's in this one here, on how to run your first 50 miler. And we had a ball putting it together, but we realized as we did that there was so much we had to leave out. 7 pages in a magazine gets filled really fast. So this webinar was born as a place where we could really cut loose with everything else that we wanted to say about the serious and seriously fun business of running monster miles. So over the next 2 hours, we are going to be cramming your brains with the fuel, inspiration, motivation, and hard-won tips and tricks to take your ultra running to the next level. This is whether you're planning your first leap into ultra distance running or if you're a seasoned campaigner who's ready to step it up a gear. There'll be a variety of links and downloads, and you'll all have unique access to these for further reading and research. Plus, you'll get a full transcript of the original feature in here and the training program that Neil put together to go with it. Even broader than the version that they put into the magazine, this is the uncut, unedited one. Think of it as your own personal director's cut. Now, we are going to cover a really large area of ground here, so we do recommend that you take notes as you go. But you don't need to worry about getting it all down word for word, because everyone here, everyone who's come to this webinar and everyone who's watching this is going to get a full recording of the entire event afterwards. But if you just make notes of the bits that are of particular use to you, it'll make it a lot easier when you want to go back and refer to stuff later. Now, personally, I consider myself incredibly lucky to have met the 3 guys who I'm sharing this webinar with tonight. They're all leading edge thinkers and executors in their areas of expertise. And more than that, all of them have helped fuel my ultra running obsession and my own quest in search of my own limits in exactly the same way as they have done in search of their own limits. Because when it comes to something as challenging as ultra running, building the right support group around you is essential. People who inspire you, people who reinforce your desires and your dreams, and to keep setting those goals and to keep on reaching them. So we hope tonight that between the 4 of us, we can do our bit to grow your support group a little bit in search of your next goal and beyond. Now, at the end of all this, we're going to be finishing with a live Q&A. So if you've got any questions you want to ask any one of us, you can type them into the bar at the bottom of the Google Hangouts page and send them straight over to us. And we'll work through as many of those as we can in the half an hour at the end of the session. So with the clock ticking and no time to waste, let's get to work. Opening the batting for us tonight, it's none other than George Anderson from runningbygeorge.com. Now, George is one of the UK's leading running coaches, and I first met him when I was writing a feature for Men's Fitness magazine a few years ago. Now, most recently, George has just finished running 10 marathons in 10 days, just because he thought he would. He notably ran the last one with a torn quad. But that's the kind of bloke he is. He's not one to give up, and he's also the best example of an experiment of one that I know. He never stops questioning what he's doing. He never stops asking how he can do it better, whether that's in his training, his performance, or in the rest of his life, his diet, anything. And these experiments and everything he learns, his inquiring mind then translates into everything that he brings to the people he coaches. So enough of that. It's time now to hand over to Mr. George Anderson.